spikes, midlife crisis, with small business vices.
Extreme ownership!
That's how we're financing the trip.
We're live. We're financing
All
the
right.
trip. Hey, everybody,
Extreme.
welcome. We are here at Extreme Ownership. I'm
With
Jim Shelby, and this is...
Larry Combs.
And across behind the camera, looking dapper as always, is
The
Jen
lovely
Carter.
Jen Carter.
You said lovely.
Yes.
You said dapper, so I don't know which one's worse. Thanks, guys.
I should see you in the tux. Anyway, so we've got some things we want to cover. It is, by the time this podcast is out, we will have done some extreme things.
Yeah, it's like our tomorrow is skydiving.
Skydiving. I've never been skydiving.
I have not either. I have a fear of flights, heights.
You're screwed then.
Yes.
I
And I can only imagine when I'm up in the plane. Like, I have a habit of doing extreme things and then, like, figuring out, like, why the heck did I do it? Like, once I backpack into remote areas of the Andes and, like, there was snow avalanches and all this stuff, and I would have given anything to be airlifted out of there, but I had to climb down the other side, and it was a test, and I couldn't imagine why I did it, but I did it.
that was really stupid.
Yeah, happy at the end. Like happy endings. But
Happy endings are great.
I know.
Okay, anyway.
So, anyways, sorry to hog this first segment, but I
know,
I
you're
already
talking about
like,
happy endings.
know
I
how
feel
I'm
good
gonna
about it.
Feel like I'm gonna be up in the plane. They're gonna open the door, and I'm gonna be like, did I do this?
What do you mean?
And like, why do I keep putting myself in situations like this? Okay, that's my thought. We're doing skydiving extreme.
Yeah,
Jim.
but I actually started a campaign, and the highest bidder gets to make sure my parachute is good. But I don't know why my ex-wives keep bidding
Yes,
at each
I was
other.
gonna say we can make a lot of money on that.
Right, and then I'll switch with
Right.
your parachute. It'll be fine.
Ha.
Anyway, so we're gonna go extreme, and we did something else
Yeah.
really extreme.
Extreme.
So, have you ever had a bucket list? Everybody knows what a bucket list. It's the things I've got to do before I die. And then there's things that you're like, I'm not going to put that on my bucket list or my dream board because it just isn't possible. So one of those things for me was I wanted to be an astronaut when I was little. Who didn't want to be an astronaut? I wanted to drink Tang. Remember
Oh,
Tang?
yeah. And I wanted to have those freeze-dried meals.
That's just weird.
I know. They always look so good.
The space.
They're not
Yes,
good.
the space meals.
That's like a gas station hamburger.
I know,
It
but-
looks good. You microwave it. You take a bite, and
But
it's
like,
like.
you could have chicken picante in space. And,
Just add space.
Anyway, so we saw something yesterday, and we booked it
took action on it.
yesterday, right? Because the opportunity of a lifetime must be seized in the lifetime of the opportunity. So we saw the opportunity, saw a commercial for Virgin Galactic. What is Virgin Galactic?
It's a division of.
Oh, time out. If you Google it, make sure you put in Galactic. I just Googled the first word and weird things come up. Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So it's a division of Virgin Airways, aka Richard Branson.
Sir
Sir,
Richard Branson. And what do they do?
well, they fly airplanes and take cruise ships to exotic places, but Virgin
Galactic
Galactic
goes
takes people into space.
right. So the thing says take one small step for a giant leap.
Yeah.
So we took the giant step.
And we made reservations to go into space on our own spaceship.
Well, not our own spaceship. We didn't buy it, but
No, we
we'll be
didn't.
on the.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could almost buy it. It costs $500,000 to go in 250, as in thousands.
Stop looking at me that way, Jen. You guys can't see the look I'm getting from Jen, but it's piercing. Anyway, so we thought if we're going to do a podcast called Extreme Ownership, we better be pretty freaking extreme. So I thought that was really extreme, and I think it's kind of a metaphor for your business.
Yes.
And so let's transition a little bit because we always want to talk about the extreme things that we're doing or have done. We're going to Mexico this week. We'll be leaving on Thursday, so the next podcast will be live from Puerto Vallarta.
Yes.
So hopefully it'll be on a beach.
The following week we'll be live from Gulf Shores.
Yes, and the third week we may or may not be on the moon. I don't know when our trip is, but we'll find out. But the moral of the story is we saw an opportunity, we took the opportunity. And I think a lot of small business owners will see the opportunity, believe in the opportunity, and then get paralyzed, unwilling to take action. So one of the things that I love about my partnership with Larry, our relationship, is that we continue to push each other. I was talking with someone on the phone today, and I said, the one thing that you have to know about having any kind of relationship with me is that I'm going to make you uncomfortable. I'm going to push you beyond what you think is possible. And, I invoke very strong feelings in people. They either love me or they hate me. Like, legitimately, if we put up a poll to set up my parachute, it would raise tens of thousands. It would be a problem for me.
Yeah.
But I say all that to say this. Change is uncomfortable. Risk is uncomfortable. But when there's a lot of risk, there's a lot of reward. And so many people are content. Like, so many people right now are content with their unemployment check. They're like, I get an extra $600. Well, what if you made $600 an hour? A lot of people look at that and go, wow, that's really good money, until you realize there's only 24 hours in a day, and you just set a cap for yourself in your life and in your business. And that's not extreme.
Can I talk about that? So $600 a week or $600 a day? Everybody would choose $600 a day, but they're afraid to let go of the $600 a week to get to the $600 a day. And I get that, totally get that, and respect that point of view. But how that relates to the space trip that we just booked ourselves on is it is one small step at a time. In other words, like, you don't go in most cases from 600 a week to 600 a day. There are steps that are required to get there, but if you never let go of the 600 a week, you can be assured that you'll never get to the $600 a day. So we each let go of a deposit. We had to put down a deposit on our $500,000 trip last night. And
I still don't feel well.
That's one small step towards it.
You're not going to tell us how much it
And
was,
pardon me?
You're not going to tell us what the deposit was, are
No,
you?
but it's in the 4 figures, so it
Wow.
was significant. And then we have to keep putting down more. So one small step, one small step. So to look at $500,000 is a lot. To look at just one step here, one step there is more palatable. And then collectively, over time, it becomes the giant step or the giant leap into space.
Yeah, and I remember one time.
And that's like an extreme, sorry, Jim.
Oh, you're
go.
fine. Say anyhow and then go ahead. That's fine.
Anyhow.
All right. I remember one time I offered.
Oh, and then, no.
I offered. Here, can you read this? I offered one time. No. We offered a lady. Larry was involved in this. We offered a lady a job.
Significant amount of money. And okay, I'm going to be quiet.
If you've just tuned in.
Yeah.
If you've
Extreme.
just tuned in, extreme ownership. Okay.
Okay, Jim.
But no, we offered a lady a job making $3,000 a month. And she said, will you report the income? And I
Oh,
said,
yes,
well,
I
yes,
remember
it's a job. And she goes, I can't accept. And I said, why? And she said, because it'll impact my Social Security. I said, she got Social Security disability. I said, how much is your Social Security disability? She said, $634 a month.
What?
I said, but if you make $3,000, wouldn't you be willing to give up the $634? And she said, no, because the $634 is guaranteed. And that's where I want to kind of tie in everything we've talked about so far. You will have guarantees in life. There's small little guarantees. There's things that you can bank on and you can count on. But those things lead to complacency. Those things lead to being afraid to take risks and take the next step. So as a small business owner, and how you translate being extreme into business ownership, I think every small business owner that I've known, or most of them, are willing to do what it takes to grow. Now, that's not always true. I met a lady, she's got a business, and I know some of her employees. She has no desire to grow her business. She thinks she does.
Right.
but she's unwilling to take the steps necessary to grow the business. So I'm going to ask anyone that's watching this, if you know somebody that's stuck in their business or wanting to take steps to grow their business, or maybe those that have taken massive steps, we like to talk to them on the show.
Definitely.
So tag them below and put some contact information. We'd like to talk to them, but you have to be willing to take the steps. When you look at a mountaintop, that mountaintop isn't scaled by jumping to the top. You got to climb. Anything you want to add to that, Larry?
No, I just, again, like, it's our society and so much of what we see on TV and in media just is representative of the giant step, the quantum leap. Like, I was, living hand to mouth, and then the next day I did this.
What did you do?
Or,
What?
the next day I was rich. Or, I was 300 pounds, and then, I lost 32 pounds in 1 month. And those things happen, but they don't happen to most of us. And what happens is we take score in our lives and compare ourselves to some of these, the media sensation that we see, and we oftentimes, or almost all the time, fall short of that. And what I just want to encourage people to consider that are listening to this is that a small step, 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 small step equals a large step. But you just take it a small step at a time, and you accumulate these little wins, which then over time look like a big win.
Right.
So when COVID, first, reared itself in the incarnation that appeared to be shut down and everything was in March, and I was at about close to 270 pounds then, and I thought to myself that, oh geez, like, this will give me like a green light to even eat more, because I won't be going out as much. I'll be watching TV, and I love to eat while watching TV. But I decided at that point to lose a lot of weight. But I didn't go from 270 to 230. I went from 270 to 269. Guess what? No one noticed. 269 to 268. No one noticed. But it was hard for me, but no one noticed. No one noticed. Now, just recently, now I'm down into the mid 230s, so I've lost 30 plus pounds during COVID. But what I'm saying about this is it was 1 pound at a time. Right. And no one notices the 1 pound at a time, but now they notice. So if you apply that into your life, that is what I call extreme. But I don't want people to think extreme means like jumping way beyond where you can get. It's little, but it's over a period of time. It's the consistency that creates the extreme.
Yeah, I used to weigh 352 pounds, and I lost 170 pounds in 6 months, and everybody was shocked.
Doing weight loss.
And that we should.
Jeez, we just
go ahead and hit stop, and we're going to switch. Welcome to the Jim and Larry Weight Loss Podcast.
All right. I mean, actually, we used to not fit on the screen.
Yeah. So that's why we have to do a split screen now.
Right.
Anyway, so the moral of the story is when I talk to people that I hadn't seen, because when you don't see people for 6 months and they see you, they're like, "Oh my God, what'd you do?"
Right.
And I got to the point where I wouldn't answer them anymore because they weren't satisfied with diet and exercise.
Yes.
When you just tell them you worked hard.
That's so true. The same thing happened to me. Like, what was the plan? Like, just eating less and exercising more, and like I didn't read a book or take a pill or.
Right. You just you have to work hard. Right. I knew somebody that quit smoking. They've since started smoking again, but they quit smoking and they said, quitting smoking is the easiest thing to do. You stop buying cigarettes and you stop putting them in your mouth. But if you're not really committed, then you'll always start again. That's if you don't have the willpower, the stick-to-itiveness to be there, it's always going to happen. That's why people gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight. It's all part of the journey. Only the extreme people, only the really dedicated people can do it and stay with it. Anything else you want to add to that before we move on to the next topic?
Move on.
All right, perfect. So we're gonna come back here in just a minute. We're gonna hear from our sponsors, and we're gonna come back. We've got a fantastic guest in the studio. We're talking about the small business spotlight, those doing things, taking steps, quantum leaps,
yes,
if you will, from where they are to where they need to be. Stay with us in just a couple of minutes. We're going to be right back here with Mr. Vic Porcelli.
Denali delivers. Here's how it works. Make a list of what you need. We source from Home Depot or the hardware store of your choice. Text the list to 314-499-2992 to start your order. Then Denali delivers your order on the scheduled delivery date. Denali delivers.
We all know there is no city quite like St. Louis. Revitalized, founded to be the champion it deserves. Our mission is to promote and strengthen revitalization efforts for the city of St. Louis through public education, civic engagement, and community events.
Let's tell Jace.
All right, and we're back.
We are back. Jen Carter just came up with the best slogan of all time, and we can't tell you. However,
You can email us.
you can email us at, I can't believe she just said that, at thenextcore.com. No, she said better cities. Okay, anyway. So we're going to talk about St. Louis and why it is the best city on the planet.
My favorite subject. So I was born in Chicago. I had no relatives in St. Louis. Never been to St. Louis, but when I was 8 years old, 7 years old, started leaving notes to my mom that I was running away to St. Louis. When I was 11, I started getting the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and for those that remember, the St. Louis Globe-Democrat. My parents thought I was crazy. Finally, when I turned like 14 or 15, they took me here to shatter my dreams, but I loved it more and ended up moving here. And just like some people want to go to Paris or Hollywood, like my whole goal was to get to St. Louis. So I have arrived. Anyways, one of the things I love about St. Louis is its history and just some of the people that lived here were so incredible. I want to talk for a second about the immigrant home in St. Louis that was built in the 1850s by John Mullanphy. He was the first millionaire Irish businessman in St. Louis, and his dad had been mayor of St. Louis. And is there a problem?
No.
Oh, okay, great. So
She just thinks your segment is a little boring.
I'm trying to get we're going to play the video that we recorded
Yeah.
in front of the, yes.
yeah. So anyways, I took Jim down there and Jen, and we were down at the house. It's still there. It's boarded up, but we were able to like put our hands in through the cracks of the windows. And
Yeah, it was really-
Didn't we feel like
It was
there
crazy.
yeah,
It was
so-
a hot day,
right.
and like you could pull back a little bit, and like this cool
Spirits, yes.
air, like, but
There
it
was
was
a-
really, it was a little bit overwhelming.
So how that relates to this show is, imagine, people back in the 1800s or any people coming to a new country, a new city, and living in a home with all these other people that left whatever it was behind. Like Jim was saying before, they left that $600 a week paycheck or whatever, $600 a month paycheck. They left what they knew behind. They came to a new place because their hope for a better life was more stronger than their current life. They were willing to give it up all to get to something new. And I'll just say it, I felt the energy or the vibration of the hundreds or the thousands of people that passed through that home, all with like hope, all with hopes and dreams, all with like leaving friends and relatives behind to come to make a better life. And so that was extreme. And that's another reason that I love, what we do, because I feel I'm extreme, Jim's extreme, like that's part of what makes our partnership thrive. But like, on the other hand, like, that's what other people would say. Like probably people back in Ireland or Germany or whatever country these people came from, they said it might have been extreme, but to the people who came, it was like normal for them because they had to do it. So I don't feel that I'm extreme. Some people may say like, I am, but like it's normal for me. And I want to say also that I think for people that are willing to, you know, put one foot in front of another and go on like a path less known, that is extreme. But if it's part of who you are, it just becomes...
It feels natural.
Yeah, natural.
So,
that's the word I'm
So let
looking
me
for.
correct you.
Thank you.
You are absolutely extreme. You're extreme in your beliefs. You're extreme in your philosophies. I've seen you bend metal with your throat.
Okay.
I've known about you walking on broken glass and fire and coals, and I've seen you do amazing things, and I've known about amazing things that you've done, and those are extreme. However, I believe that it's part of who you are.
It is.
So while others would think it was extreme, Larry would think it would be extreme to not follow what's truly in your heart. And that's why you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
That's why you're an investor. That's why you have the philosophies that you have, because you believe that the things that other people think are extreme are just who you are and why you do them. And that's why, honestly, it's one of the things that attracted me to you as a business partner, is that you're always willing to take the next step, the step less traveled. And there have been many times where we were just, I don't know how else to say it, we were like
down and out,
ready to
Right.
close and like bleep this out, but the shit had hit the fan.
Yes.
And we were done. We crafted the closing letter to
Yes.
our members one time. We crafted this. And then we took that one last step. And for us, you were resigned to the fact that we were closing. I said we never would. But you had decided to make the step. You decided to close. But that extreme nature inside of you, I reeled you back in.
He did.
I reeled you back in.
He did. Yeah.
But
And I also just got to stop and interrupt. I say this often, but I always say it. If you are in business with a partner, or you have a spouse or wife or everything, and things are supposed to be 50-50, they're rarely 50-50 at any given moment. So at that time it was like 95 Jim and 5% me. But there were times when, like, you know, Jim had physical issues. It was like 90% me and 10% him. Like, our partnership has rarely been 50-50. Over a period of time it's 50-50, but hardly any week is 50-50. But that's what makes, that's how you count on people.
Yeah, for sure. And it is the ability to lean on someone. And I encourage you to have this. Like, a partnership is better than going it alone.
It is.
Like, I love the solopreneurs, I love the entrepreneurs, but you are so much better off with a team and people that you can lean on. And if you don't have that team, lean on us.
Yeah.
Call us, be part of the show, join us, come to NextCore, whatever. Lean on us, because one of the things that we've done is we have screwed up a ridiculous amount, right? We have made so many mistakes. It's kind of a joke. I've been sued. I've been, like, everything you can imagine in business. I've lost businesses, lost cars, lost homes, lost everything. Larry's had to give up things and sacrifice things, and he even gave up stuff, and then they came back after it again one time because he gave it up the wrong way.
Yeah, and I've
Oh,
also...
that's a funny way to say that.
is.
Okay.
And I also, I lived out of my car. I mean, I you know, one year I was living in Beverly Hills in a beautiful home, and about 16 months later I'm living out of my car. So it hasn't, I mean...
Was it a nice car?
It actually was. It was an Infiniti, which it was...
He was living in his Infiniti.
Yeah, but then I had to give up the Infiniti because I was so far behind on the car payments. I didn't want to get stopped by the police.
Well, if you never get out of the car, they can never find it.
If I never get out? Yes, they can, because I had another car repossessed they found.
How many cars have you had repossessed?
Only one, because I gave up the Infiniti before it got repossessed.
So that was a voluntary repossession. I have also had repossessions.
Yeah.
Like, on your journey,
my point,
you will go through some stuff.
Yeah, my point is, like, I don't know what my point is.
Nobody knows what your point is.
I don't. But
You got the immigrant video to cut.
oh yeah, the immigrant. Yeah. So I mean,
Let's go to that. Hey everybody, it's Jim Shelby and my business partner Larry Cohn. Where are we, Larry? What's the name of this place?
This place is called the Mullanphy Immigrant Home.
It's hard to describe this unless you're here, but there's an energy about the building. And Larry shared with me the story of how people from all over the world, different backgrounds, different nations, different ethnicities, came here. This is the first immigrant house built west of the Mississippi River. And I gotta tell you, just like looking around the building, feeling the building, there's an energy here. So tell us a little bit more about the story.
Yeah, so first of all, as a small business owner, our imagination is so important in the creation of whatever our business is. So I just would like you, the viewer, to use your imagination right now, and I want to take you back to the mid-1800s when this house was first built, and people from Italy and Germany and Ireland and like dozens of countries all came to St. Louis under the generosity of John Mullanphy, who was a mayor of St. Louis, and by the way, the son of the first Irish millionaire in St. Louis. And he built this home to welcome people to St. Louis. So just imagine all the hopes and all the dreams that lay inside this building. And I'm telling you, like, Jim and I are standing here on the street and we can feel like the energy. There's a certain like feeling in the air that's coming out, and I know that, you know, I don't know if we want to call it a spirit or something, but for me, like, I just feel the hopes and the dreams and the aspirations of all those that came to a new land seeking something better. So this house was built in the mid-1800s, and Mullanphy in his will dedicated money to keep this house going, you know, for a lifetime, or whatever that lifetime means. But the point of the story is after 29 years, I believe it was 1879, the city closed down the immigrant home, and they used Mullanphy's money to take immigrants and then, you know, house them in certain apartments or certain places scattered throughout the city. So what is cool about this is here is the concentration of people that came to America seeking something better, and I think that's why the energy is so abundant here.
Yeah, it's very palpable. You can feel it. I reached into, it was weird, I reached inside the window and you can see the original glass all painted over.
Yeah, we're on 14th Street in West Florissant in North St. Louis. If you just have an opportunity, drive by and just park and just look at it and just feel the energy of the dreams and the hopes, which I know all of us, whether you're a small business owner or not, all of us probably have more than ever right now, more dreams and more hopes, because when we live in a world that's so set with contrast right now, you know, that the contrast, however unwanted it is, always births something of greater value, meaning we now have more hopes and more desire. So Jim and I just thought it was fitting that we come to the immigrant home that was filled with the desires and the dreams, and also just, you know, look back at some of the generosity of lots of St. Louisans like Mullanphy.
Extreme ownership with Jim and Larry.
Guns, spikes, midlife crisis with small business vices.
Extreme ownership.
Rocket launch, back to you.
Rocket launch! Back to us. Is that what you really said? Rocket launch? And
Because I added a rocket to the end of your
Nice.
video to
because we're going to the moon?
hoist you guys into,
Well-
not the moon.
No, space.
space.
Yeah.
Space.
Yeah,
I've
right.
really,
A lot of
really
amenities
always
up
wanted to
there.
go to Uranus.
That's a lot more than 250K.
Well, unless you go to the fudge place off 44.
Yes. Uranus Fudge Factory.
Right.
They pack them in.
We did stop there once expecting something else.
Yeah, it was really,
No.
I was really disappointed. It was kind of a family place.
Right.
Not at all what I had hoped for.
Right.
However, 9 miles down the road. Anyway, we are back. So before,
In other words, one
like,
small step at a time, you'll get your journey. If it ain't Uranus, keep going. Did I just say that?
you did. Anyway,
Gosh.
we're gonna go back. This is where things went downhill. I don't really like when things go down this quickly. I think you need to be slower on the go down.
Yes. that's
Anyway,
why I
I
take
mean, you're
my
at
blue
the
pills.
30-minute mark, so.
I don't know what you mean. Anyway, so we had talked about the immigrant house, and we've now played the video. I want to tell you, it was a humbling place to walk into. Like, all kidding aside, to just know what it took for those people to get here. And some of them, from where they came, I mean, they had to cross the Mississippi. Like, in some of the stories we've talked about, in times when it wasn't really easy to do that.
Exactly.
So I feel like it's always good to take a step back, look at yourself, and realize that what you're doing right now isn't all that hard. You just have to bury your head and do it. Now, rest assured, it's probably the hardest thing you've ever done to do it and do it right. But compared to life and death situations, it's not really a big deal. I was talking to, I want to share one other thing and then I'll come back to you. I was talking to someone the other day about a situation they were facing and something someone had said to you. And I can't remember if it was a movie or a comedian or a speaker or something, but they talked about they're walking down the street and the person across the street looked at him and said, "I hate you, I wish you'd die," and then just kept walking. And when you hear something like that, it's kind of, oh, okay, and you just kind of laugh. But what if you walked in and that was your mom saying that to you, right? It's different considering the source. So when we're going through these challenges where people are like, your idea's stupid, your business isn't viable, this, that, whatever they say, remember that they're not the ones taking care of you. They're not the ones that gave birth to you and are planning to support you. They're just the naysayers. And you're going to have a ton of those in your life, and you have to get over it, get past it. And in order to do that, you have to be extreme. You have to be willing to shut off the emotions, and it's hard to do. It takes practice.
It does.
But seeing that home and seeing what they went through, it was pretty amazing. But you saw another place in St. Louis, or near St. Louis, that I had never even heard of. You posted it on Facebook.
Fields.
You got a ton of comments on it.
I did.
Tell us about that.
Yeah.
Where is it located?
So,
what is it?
If you've been listening to this podcast, I've been like studying St. Louis, reading about St. Louis since I was 8 years old, and I pretty much think I know everything about this city, but I did not know there was a sunflower field, and it's one of the top like 5 or 10 sunflower fields in the United States, and it's located in the.
Didn't know there was a grading scale. Go ahead.
Yeah. I didn't know any of this, and my goddaughter, who was visiting from Arizona, was the one who told me about this. Anyhow, it's in the Columbia Bottoms Conservation Area, which is near the confluence of the Missouri and Mississippi rivers, and we went there a few days ago, and it was absolutely incredible. What's so funny?
I was gonna say for some of our guests, explain what confluence is.
Oh, it's the intersect or the meeting of the two largest waterways.
Like the meeting of the waters?
Yes.
Cue that video next time. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so we went to the sunflower fields, and I didn't know that sunflowers attract butterflies, but there were lots of butterflies there, and the sunflowers were, taller than me, and not many people are taller than me. So it was really cool to meander along the paths and get lost in the sunflowers.
And you took, speaking of kids, sidebar.
Yeah.
Tell me about your kid excursion. How many kids did
so
you have sole custody
I had
of?
Kids, people anyways.
He had a herd.
I had 8 kids that were with me for, 2-3 days that I was just their responsible guardian.
One of them was my child.
Yeah.
And in true responsible fashion, I went out 3 days in a row. Larry had them all. I did nothing.
7 were mine and 1 was his. So, I figured.
I missed him during that time, but I had a blast.
It was quite an experience. 8 kids. I didn't get much sleep. But anyways, we did do the sunflower fields, and 8 kids did come out. So that's good. Because, I'm 6'2", and I got lost in the field. Some of the kids are, just 5 and 6 years old. So we managed to...
But I thought you had them all on ropes.
No.
Put tall flags on them.
We managed to do it. But if you haven't been, check it out, sunflower fields in the Columbia Bottoms Conservation Area.
All right. So...
It's time for a quote.
It's time for a quote.
Yeah. Can I share a quote that I think seems
You
fitting?
sound like the guy from Saturday Night Live.
I am.
Deep
Jack
Thoughts
Handy.
by Jack Handy.
Deep Thoughts by Larry Cohn. My name is Larry Cohn, and I've had deep thoughts.
What are they, Larry?
Thanks for asking, Jim.
Are you going to say the quote?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
So
Okay.
we talked about going to space. We talked about one small step at a time. We talked about losing weight. It's 1 pound at a time. We talked about a lot of things that in the end seem extreme, but in the middle of it aren't very extreme because you're taking it step by step by step. Here's the quote. A happy life is just a string of happy moments, but most people miss the happy moments because they're so busy trying to get a happy life. I love that quote. And it represents what we talked about today. Just take it a little, and all of a sudden it becomes big. Be happy now. Find something to be happy about now. Just be happy now. Be a little happier now. Just find something you can be happy about now. It may not be the best happiness you've ever had, just something. And then a couple minutes from now, just find something to be happy about. Maybe it's the breeze from the window, just something to be happy about. And before you know it, you've strung together a series of happy moments versus looking for the happy life. That's my thought.
I do like that quote.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it.
And you know, when I was living out of my car, that's one of the quotes that kept me going because I knew that I didn't have a happy life, but I could find a happy moment. I could, you know, it was fall. I could look at the colors of the trees. I could always find a happy moment. And I just had to string together happy moments. And then I became happy. That's the quote.
That sounds great.
It really is. I'm telling you, kids, he may make fun of it, and I know he's not making fun of it, but it's just look for something to be happy about just now. Just now.
It's fine.
What can we expect next week, and how do you want to wrap?
Well, so there's a couple things that I want to do. We are getting our feet wet a little bit in this podcast, and we want to have some fun. So as we were sitting here, I was jotting down a few things. So what if we added a segment? I guess we're going to have to since I'm talking about it. But try something new. KNEW.
Oh, yeah.
Try something new. Something we didn't know about in St. Louis or somewhere. So here's what I'm going to ask. If you have a place in St. Louis, if you're a business owner in St. Louis and you want us to come try it, check it out, see it, do it, tag us below. And in the next week, in between trips, vacations, parachuting, jumping out of airplanes, landing on the moon, and coming here and visiting Larry's Uranus. Visiting Uranus with Larry. We will come try something new with you.
We will.
Right? And then
Just wash your hands first, please.
wash your hands. Hold me. Hold me. Anyway,
So how do they get in touch with us? How would they?
you know, we're just like, we're the beautiful faces on the camera, and if you're listening on the audio. So Jen, how would they get in touch with us?
They could call 314-635-0500.
And ask for who?
Larry?
Oh, good.
Jen? Becca?
Ask for Jen. Jen's your man. Anyway, but yeah, reach out to us. You can also comment, message us on Facebook. The Extreme Ownership Podcast is how you reach us, so feel free to do that. And then, so next week, you can expect the first ever off-site, bridged-in, on-location, international Extreme Ownership Podcast. Where will we be again?
Puerto Vallarta. That's where I think we'll be, but who knows?
Who knows?
Mexican prison.
That'd be
That
awesome.
would be...
That's assuming we make it out of the parachute tomorrow.
Right.
Otherwise, we might be at St. Luke's. But
Tandem jumping is very safe.
I'm willing to bet if we don't make it out of the jump, we won't be at St. Luke's.
Yeah.
You might be at St. John's.
No. I bet
No,
we'll be at St.
Festus
Mary.
Memorial.
Yeah. Festus Memorial Hospital. We'll be in the little case that stays cold. Anyway, join us next week. We're looking to always refine, redesign, and be a part of the St. Louis landscape, and we want to make St. Louis bigger, better, badder, and more recognized than ever. Be prepared to be exposed and be extreme. Larry,
This
close
is
us out.
Extreme Ownership with
Jim.
and Larry.
And
Extreme
ownership.
Extreme Ownership with Jim and Larry.
Guns, bikes, midlife crisis with small business vices.
Extreme ownership.